Last month's landslide at Tumbi in Papua New Guinea's highlands claimed over 25 lives, with most of its victims still entombed under it. It happened during PNG's wet season, but Stanley Mamu, who is the author of the blog site LNG Watch, which monitors work on the projects to extract liquefied natural gas from the highlands, told correspondent Liam Fox the disaster cannot be blamed on natural causes.
This is man-made disaster. This is not a natural disaster.
But Mr Mamu's view is not supported by a report into the landslide released online by PNG's National Disaster Council. It gives as a reason for the slide
naturally occurring geological weakness assisted by abnormally high rainfall combined to cause subsidence to the immediate northwest of the quarry, triggering a landslide of composite debris.
It's that quarry which Mr Mamu and many others say is the reason for the disaster.
Just about 100 meters, there were quarry there. They use explosive dynamite there to explode, blow out the rocks and everything. Another reason was that they use trucks to carry heavy machinery up and down the road.
And while the quarry gets little mention in the NDC report, on the day of the landslide, its president, Martin Mose, told Radio Australia it could not be discounted as a cause for the disaster.
There's been some construction work carried out up there as well, so, digging off limestone to actually grind it out to provide gravels for the road and things like that. So there's been a fair bit of activities going on, so all of those things could have contributed as well.
The ABC has tried to contact Mr Mose to find out if there will be a follow-up or more detailed report into the disaster, but our calls have gone unanswered. Dr. Kristian Lasslett is a lecturer in criminology at the University of Ulster and a contributor to LNG Watch. He says while the quarry does not feature in the recent NDC report, concerns about it were raised in environmental reports for the LNG project contractor building a nearby airfield.
What these reports identify is firstly that the Tumbi quarry was in March 2011 declared unsafe, and even as late as July, the independent monitors were raising questions over the oversight of the operation there.
Dr. Lasslett is curious why the quarry appears to be discounted now as a cause for the January landslide.
Two things struck me about that report. Firstly, it made a very firm determination that heavy rainwater was the cause of the landslide. And secondly, it did not consider whether the quarry had any role to play. Now, I raised these concerns with a colleague of mine, Professor Dave Petley, and he's at Durham University, and he is an expert, a world-renowned expert in landslides, and he has provided extraordinarily interesting commentary on that report.
Professor Dave Petley from Durham University in the United Kingdom is the director of the International Landslide Centre. Radio Australia has not been able to contact him directly, but here's part of his response to the Disaster Council report as posted on the website of the American Geophysical Union.
I wonder what evidence there is for this abnormal rainfall event, given the high rainfall that this area is likely to receive anyway. The report notes that pools and seepage on the sheer face indicate that the groundwater rose significantly above its historical levels. I do not understand this logic. Seepage and pools are likely to occur in the aftermath of almost any deep landslide of this type.
Stanley Mamu says 3 investigations into the landslide have either been completed or are currently underway. One conducted by the LNG project partners, another by the PNG government, and the third by the local landowners. Mr Mamu says a group with no ties to the region must be allowed to investigate.
You can say that company can come up with the investigation team. Landowners can organize one investigation team. And the Papua New Guinea government can organize investigation team. But whom to trust.
The natural resources which have attracted the LNG project and the wish to get the project up and running has led the International State Crimes Initiative to take an interest in how the aftermath of the landslide is dealt with. The initiative was created to highlight examples of where a country is in breach of its own laws and legislation, and the person responsible to it for PNG is Dr. Kristian Lasslett.
The prima facie evidence would suggest that this could be a situation where there is some degree of corporate negligence, and B, there has been a failure on the part of the state to properly oversee the LNG project, to properly regulate the LNG project, that they have put at the forefront their status as a business partner ahead of their status as a regulator.
One of the LNG project partners, Esso Highlands, has said there was no blasting at the quarry and that work was stopped there 6 months ago. The ABC's office in Port Moresby had arranged to talk to the company's managing director, Peter Graham, on the issue, but that interview was cancelled and Esso said no one would be made available. The ABC has since contacted its public relations office asking if it would reconsider, but has yet to hear a reply. Meanwhile, the area around the landslide remains a disaster zone.
Everything done there has been bulldozed, and people are fed up with these two, Mobile and the Papua New Guinea government, so they really hate their report and they want the independent investigation team and come and do